Hey everyone, today we're talking about the ELAC Uni-Fi Reference 3-way bookshelf speakers. If you've been on the hunt for speakers that actually sound as good as they look, this might be the pair you've been waiting to hear. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I picked these up a few months ago to replace a set of older tower speakers that were starting to sound a little muddy. I wasn't expecting a night and day difference, but the Uni-Fi speakers surprised me right out of the box. They're not huge, each one is about the size of a large cantaloupe, but they pack a surprising amount of clarity and bass for their footprint. The walnut baffle and black trim give them a clean, modern look that fits nicely in my living room without screaming I'm a speaker. I've had them sitting on a pair of basic stands, and they've held their own against way pricier floor-standing models I've auditioned in stores. One of the first things I noticed was how well they handle mid-range. Vocals come through with a natural warmth that feels almost like the singer is standing in the room. I've played everything from Billie Eilish to Fleetwood Mac through them, and neither artist sounded thin or harsh. The Uni-Fi uses a 3-way design with an aluminum tweeter, a 5.25-inch mid-range driver, and a 6.5-inch aramid fiber woofer. That combination keeps voices centered and instruments layered without any one frequency stepping on another. I've also run them as rear surrounds in a small 5.1 setup, and they blend seamlessly with the fronts, no weird tonal mismatch that you sometimes get with mismatched speaker lines. Bass is where I was most skeptical. Bookshelf speakers often need a sub to fill in the low end, but these actually surprised me. They don't hit the chest-thumping levels of a dedicated sub, but for movies and casual listening they're plenty satisfying. I've watched a few Marvel films with them and the explosions still have weight without sounding boomy or muddy. If you're mainly using them for music, you might want to keep them away from the wall or add a small sub later, but for the price they deliver more bass than I expected. I also appreciate how forgiving they are with placement. I've moved them from a bookshelf to stands to a shelf above the TV, and they still sounded balanced. The Uni-Fi's waveguide on the tweeter helps widen the sweet spot, so you don't have to sit dead center to enjoy them. That's a big deal if you're sharing the space with family or roommates who don't always sit in the perfect spot. I've even paired them with a modest tube amp I had lying around, and they didn't sound harsh or fatiguing, just smooth and musical. Another nice touch is the build quality. The cabinets are made from high-density fiberboard, which feels solid and reduces resonance. The binding posts are gold-plated and accept both banana plugs and bare wire, which is handy if you like to experiment with cables. They're not the lightest bookshelves out there, but they don't feel cheap either. After a few months of use, they still look and sound like new. Now, they're not perfect for every situation. If you're looking for thunderous bass that rattles windows, you'll want a subwoofer to partner with these. They also benefit from a decent amp to really shine. A weak receiver can make them sound a bit thin. And while the walnut finish is attractive, it does show fingerprints and dust more than a matte black baffle would. But for the price point, those are pretty minor trade-offs. All in all, if you want a pair of bookshelf speakers that sound more expensive than they cost and look good doing it, the ELAC Uni-Fi Reference series is worth a serious listen. They've earned a permanent spot in my setup and have handled everything from jazz trios to action movies without breaking a sweat. If you're curious, the link is below so you can check them out on Amazon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.